East Coast Horror Group.
They're here.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
East Coast Horror Group presents Dead Art Movie Reviews.
Salutations and mutilations! You're listening to East Coast Horror Group presents Dead On Movie Reviews. Tonight, we will present horror movie reviews and lively debate here on EastCoastHorrorGroup.com and on future select Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join our live chat at that time by clicking on the live shows link on EastCoastHorrorGroup.com on the website. I'm your host, Tim Kretschmann, coming to you from the East Coast of Lake Michigan. And it's my honor to introduce the Faculty of Fear to all of you presenting tonight's lectures. We start at conventions he drinks till he's blotto. He's the meat. He's Mr. Rich Dalzotto. How you doing, Rich?
Hello.
Oh, we're off to a grand start. Next, I introduce our gingerific co-host that prefers to go by the name Little Baby Drew Face Spruce Seidler. It's Drew!
I don't like it when you call me that.
I know you actually do like it. All right, and the man they call the face of Jace, a sincere zombie apologist. It's the man of two voices. It's Coach Michael Exler, the Dean of Students.
Hello. How are you guys?
Hey, fantastic.
Yeah.
It's been a little
Yeah,
bit. It's been a little
Are you
while.
ready?
Are you ready for some football?
A Monday night party?
We're a little late for
NFL's
a
gonna
Monday
show us
night
for sure.
party. Fantastic. Well, we want to thank everybody for coming on out tonight. We got a great show lined up for everyone, and we think you're all going to have a great time on today's program. But we're going to get right into things because our good friend Rich Dalzotto has a movie he'd like to talk to you about. Rich, what have you been watching?
First of all, I would prefer that you refer to me as the meat.
I'm sorry, let me redo the intro. Now, ladies and gentlemen, walking through the halls, getting ready to sexually molest one of his co-students, we have the man they call the meat.
Much
No one
better.
calls him that.
So, well, thanks again for having me on. I always appreciate being asked. And thank you for allowing me to choose a documentary to review rather than a feature film. What I chose was the Unearthed and Untold, The Path to Pet Cemetery. I'm assuming all three of you have seen Pet Cemetery before. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
I have.
Yep.
So, as far as documentaries go, I found this. I like documentaries. First off, I'm a mark for them. I found this one to be good. It's you can tell that they didn't have a huge budget, but they did a really good job. A lot of interviews at cons. But they got all the main people that are still living. Denise Crosby, what's that kid's name? Miko, whatever. All that
He's
stuff.
a DJ
So,
now.
what's that?
He's a DJ now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice. I wish he would have
Me too.
laid down some fat beats, but he didn't. So anyway, pretty interesting story. Really, they start off the documentary. The most interesting thing to me was what it took to get this movie made. Great novel, and there was a fully finished script done in the early '80s. But as you know, this movie did not come out until 1989. The studios kept balking at making it for various reasons, And the only reason they finally gave in is there was a writer's strike, and they needed completed scripts to make movies because it was a drawn-out strike, and they were running out of material. So basically, that was the only reason they finally gave in and made this movie. Obviously, Fred Gwynn? Anything they talked about him was interesting. A lot of cool behind the scenes stuff, how they created the sets, all of it. This movie was made in Maine, which prior to that, Stephen King movies, even though the books were usually based in Maine, they'd all been made in California or other cities. So they talked about the ups and downs of having to go to Maine to make a movie and get the things necessary.
Isn't it based on Stephen King? Like, this actually happened to him? Like, his son died and shit in a car accident, right?
His son did not die, but what happened was they, early in his career, they rented a house that had a road just like the one in the book that was a truck route. And
Right.
his son did start darting for the road, and he got him just a few seconds before a truck would have smashed him. So that was one of the things that started inspiring the story. And then the other part was, near that house that they rented was a pet cemetery. And the kids that made it, he started talking to them about the whole thing, and they just started inspiring, his story. He took some of what they had to say and went with it, and obviously turned it into the horror masterpiece that it is. And even down to the last little thing, like cemetery being spelled with an S, is because one of the kids was a dumbass and painted it on a sign. So that's why he used it for his book. So it was really interesting. It's one of those things I don't want to get into too much detail because, that's part of the fun of watching a documentary, is hearing it from the people who actually lived it. I will say it was interesting, of course, anytime, even to this day, killing a child can be taboo in films, and that was one of the things that they dealt with getting the movie made. And then when they did it, it was very cool to hear. I mean, that kid was like 2 years old when they made it. Mm-hmm. His reaction to some of the things he had to do in the movie, including ripping off part of Herman Munster's face with his mouth. Yeah, and it was a well done documentary. Again, they had all the principal people involved, a lot of the townspeople that were involved in helping. They definitely got the town involved, and some of the people, they kept a history of what happened too. So there was a lot of cool behind the scene photos and stories. So I definitely do recommend people check it out.
Well, was Herman Munster there?
He's dead.
Was he wearing the Herman Munster makeup?
Not in Pet Sematary, and I think you know that.
No, like during the documentary.
He wasn't in. He was not alive for the documentary, sir.
Ugh.
I know.
Did they talk to Stevie K?
They did not talk to him directly for this. They did have some stock footage that they were able to use from some of the seminars and things of that nature that he had given.
Now,
said, fuck you.
Did you guys hear that they are attempting to remake this movie?
Yes.
What are your thoughts? I've never read the book, so I don't know if this was very faithful to the book or what. So I don't know that I have an opinion. I watched it not too long ago, and I thought it felt more dated than I expected.
The book is, they took a lot of liberties in the movie to get, to put a film out there away from the book.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible a remake could be more accurate to the book, including the ending.
Okay.
But what is cool is Stephen King did sign off on all of the changes they made in the movie. I mean, he was not against, unlike his reaction to The Shining.
Right.
He was on board with what they did in this case.
That's good.
Maybe they can make the child death scene more believable.
What are you talking about? They misted that fucking kid.
What?
I tell you, that's one of the best things that they showed, is how they did that scene in the movie. How they created that whole thing and had the truck barreling down on him until the last second. I won't give away the little trick that they used, but it was very cool.
They used a homeless kid.
I thought that
What?
was a very effective.
They used an orphan. They just used an orphan. Pretty cool how they did that. A little trick, a little movie magic.
They switched it out with a little person.
Listen, there has to be some payoff. I hate how they're literally like a mile from the road, and that little kid is like waddling towards the road, and the parents don't notice.
Oh, worst parents ever.
And I mean, like, they must have had just a bucket of gore that they buried, right? Because that little kid would have exploded.
There would be nothing left of them.
Yeah, like that.
Have them.
They showed the house where Stephen King's son almost got to the road, and there's like 12 feet a yard. It's very believable.
Yeah, see? That's real shit, man. Like, that takes like a second. This kid had like 5 minutes to run down this road.
It was like Chariots of Fire. That scene.
Oh, fuck.
And I think they also probably made it look way longer so that you, as the audience, think that it's going to take forever for the dad to get there, obviously.
Yeah, but you're like, but all you do is sit there and think, really, these are the worst parents ever. The kid has the stride of a fucking caterpillar. And he's a mile from the road.
Stride of a caterpillar.
He barely stands on his own. Like, how do you...
You know, though, that
could have
is...
done a better job.
That movie, the first time you see it, you don't think for a second that kid's going to die. You know, if you haven't read the book, even though it's a Stephen King, you think something's going to happen last minute here. They're not going to let a kid die. It's not going to happen. And then it happens, and you're like, holy crap.
No offense, sir, but I don't know what movie you were watching where you didn't think he was going to die.
Oh, I thought for sure something last minute was going to happen.
The Green Ranger.
The Green Ranger. Why would you say that?
Oh, wait a minute.
I don't understand.
Gotta turn that on. There we go.
What? Anybody to say?
Well, he thought the Green Ranger was coming. That's what he said.
Yes, that is what I said. All right. Well, Rich, it's about that time where we ask you.
I forgot about the creepy lady in the bedroom.
Oh, that's the scariest part, I thought.
Played by a guy.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
What is wrong with that person in the movie? Why are they like that?
Isn't it spinal meningitis?
Yeah, some spinal something.
On steroids.
Spina bifida?
Bifida or something like that, yeah.
Bifida?
Oh, okay,
Bifida.
Whatever Drew has.
Rich, what is your grade
A huge penis.
for the... Rich, what...
giving you
I'm
the
sorry,
letter grade?
hold on, I'm sorry. The Meat, what is your grade for this
Is this
film?
a letter grade?
Yes, a letter grade.
I will give it a B, and the main reason I'm giving it a B, and Mike especially will understand, is unfortunately they interviewed a couple of fans in this, and one of them was Sean Clark.
Ugh.
And the fact that I had to see his face is why I dropped it down to a B. Otherwise, I would have given it an A.
B for bifida.
B for bifida.
All right, well, thank you very much, Meat. We are glad to hear from you, as always.
Thank you.
And it is time now to go to a gentleman that likes to be known as Little Baby Drew Face, Poos Seidler. Drew, what have you been watching?
Why on earth do you want to be known as that? I don't
He
understand.
constantly
It's clear
says, make
From the
sure,
past years that we've been
make
doing
sure
this
you
is just
say
something
it.
Tim's thrown together.
Make sure you say it because I love it. That's what he tells me just before we go to air. It's sickening.
It's just so long and
he's
ridiculous and
He is
meaningless.
such a little drama
Absolute
queen.
nonsense. It's almost like you
Drew.
ran your hand across the keyboard and were like, that's what I'm calling Drew from now on.
I like the poos part.
Yeah.
I think everybody
Not even a word. Just syllables put together.
Poos.
Anyway,
I can't wait to
I
fuck your
watched-
feet.
well,
Go ahead.
can't say no to this. I'm actually excited to talk about this movie, though, because this is one of the movies that has stuck with me for a while. I've been wanting to talk about it with other people.
Go to it!
The movie is called Butt Blazers 14, or The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
You read the movie!
Stars Nicole Kidman and Colin Farrell. Directed by, and I apologize if I get this wrong, Yorgos Lanthimos.
That was spot on, dude. That was awesome.
He's obviously Greek.
You know who his cousin is, right?
Spiros.
He's going to say the asshole from Prague. It's not real. Delvin Barstow.
Yeah.
He did a movie called The Lobster, also with Colin Farrell. I don't know if anyone's seen that. Just a bunch of kind of weird.
Yeah, I saw Lobster. That is a weird frickin' movie.
So that's kind of what you can expect here. It's based on a tragedy written by Euripides. That name might bring back some memories of like 10th grade world literature. Just an old Greek author. I think he wrote the Helen of Troy story, Trojan Horse thing.
No.
With the kings and all that.
No. That was Aesop.
That's not Aesop's fable.
No, it was Homer. It was Homer in the Iliad was Troy.
Anyway.
Go on. Euripides, I didn't even know her. Go on.
Oh my.
That was fucking awful, Tim.
You're welcome.
Literally awful.
You are welcome.
I cringed for you.
I'm not even going to sell you that. You already bought it.
So, one of the things about this movie that I think made it so unsettling is that throughout...
I didn't do that. Go ahead.
So, The Killing of a Sacred Deer. I give it 11. The end. Now it's on the mic. Go ahead, Mike.
That wasn't a review. I don't even know what this movie's about.
Obviously, nobody wants a review.
I've been sitting here quietly, politely waiting for your review.
Yeah, it was so quiet the crickets were coming out.
I hope you get a horrible disease and die from it.
Nice.
Yeah, that was rather unkind. That was a little unkind.
The movie starts off with open heart surgery, like actual for real open heart surgery. So that's the first thing that is in your eyeballs is a real beating heart in an operating room.
So is it like stock footage from a medical school or something?
It's not stock footage. They actually went to a medical facility and set up the gear and sanitized everything and shot the shot.
Wow.
Somebody getting their heart surgery done.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Wow. Okay.
And he found out that Colin Farrell is a heart surgeon in a prestigious hospital, one of the best heart surgeons in the world.
I thought he was
Like
an actor.
in the movie.
And he's married to Nicole Kidman, who is also a doctor. The entire film is all the lines are delivered very flatly and very almost just like everything's happening as commonplace, and it's the exact opposite of that. So that's what I think probably threw me off as much as it did, because you really don't know what the fuck's happening until 40 minutes into the movie. It's just kind of a weird. There are lots of weird dialogue and weird wide shots and until you eventually find out that this kid who has been meeting with Colin Farrell, who I really didn't know what the fuck he was. I didn't know if they were having sex. I'm trying to figure out what the fucking deal is between these two people.
I can't wait
Because-
to fuck your feet.
Right, because it was some sort of a foot fetish. But no. You find out that Colin Farrell had operated on his father under the influence of alcohol because he was a alcoholic and his father died. So he's put this weird fucking curse on him that each of his children will become paralyzed, quadriplegics, and then refuse to eat, and then cry blood, and then die in that order.
Oh.
And until he kills somebody from his family, this will continue to happen. His kids will die, his wife will die, he'll lose everybody, or else he kills one person.
So it's a feel-good.
That's kind of Alicia Silverstone shows up in it, which is I thought was a weird cameo.
Yeah, it's been forever since she's been in something, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
As if.
Totally.
But I mean, that's about as far as I want to go into it.
Okay.
As far as what happens, and it's just very strange. One of those movies that definitely stuck with me. Just the feel of it.
Okay.
Something that I don't know.
I mean, is this as strange as Lobster, or is it a little easier to get into? Because I found Lobster very difficult to get into.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to get into than Lobster is. It's more of an actual direct story than just a bunch of hodgepodge of nonsense.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's about it.
Okay, well then it's time for your grade of the killing of a sacred lobster.
I'll just give it an A. It was well acted. Cool story. Definitely, one of those movies that keep you thinking afterwards, which doesn't happen all that often. So it gets an A.
Wow. All right, so we've had a B and an A. That means there was some bad attitude. That's a Mr. T reference from the A-Team.
Rich should have got that. He's old.
All right. This brings us to Mike. Mike, what have you been watching?
I decided to review the 2018 film Demon House.
Demon House.
Starring, written, directed, produced, conceptualized by Zach Bagans of
Who's that?
Ghost Adventures fame.
Oh no!
Now, Demon House, isn't that the name of in Pittsburgh? Isn't there like a Demon House? Isn't that in your area? That there's like some super haunted, or am I wrong?
I've never heard of it.
Really? Okay.
Is that the Demon of Brownsville Road?
I thought I had always heard about Demon House, and that's why I thought you picked it. Okay.
Tim's correct.
Aha! Pittsburgh history for the win, right here.
What the fuck are you talking about, Rich? What's Demon House then?
I'll send you the link.
Okay, go ahead, Mike. Tell us about the movie Demon House 2018. No one will interrupt you.
That's a lie, sir. A dirty, rotten lie. So Demon House is...
Titties!
There we go. That didn't take any time at all.
Like fuck dog.
So
It's true.
so many different voices. The actual Demon House it's an actual house in Gary, Indiana.
Gary,
Oh, no, that's a good neighborhood.
Gary,
The-
Indiana.
The hotbed of activity that is Gary.
Center of education and technology.
It's a budding metropolis, really. So it existed, and this family lived there.
It exists.
A mom, a daughter, and the daughter's three daughters.
Damn, why does she have so many kids?
She's a whore.
Well, quite possibly.
Thank
so.
you,
I
Rich.
don't know.
I'm sorry, meat.
So, a bunch of haunted shit happened to them. And they had the Catholic Church involved, and they had to get the fuck out, and blah, blah, blah. So, that whole story went on, and Zach, he got fuck money like that.
Zach
So,
Morris?
No, Zach Bagans. He just bought the house for like $38,000. So that part actually happened. He did do that. So he decided, I guess, to write a movie and direct it about the house that he bought. So it's a pretend story from here on out.
Okay.
So it's essentially like a episode of Ghost Adventures, if you've ever seen it.
Oh, good.
It's really the exact same thing, except they swear.
Spoiler alert.
There's a couple of different guys.
They don't find a ghost.
And they don't, I mean, it's like an episode of TV. And funnier, I've seen creepier episodes that he did on TV than I did this film. Probably because someone else is writing those storylines.
So here's the thing with these ghost hunter shows too, by the way. Like, don't they have a vested interest to not find ghosts at this point? Because then their show stops.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about making that money, son. In the end of the day.
Anyway, sorry about that. Go ahead.
I want someone to seriously tell me why all ghosts are like Victorian era ghosts.
Why is there no ghost like sitting there texting on his phone or something, right?
I need those answers. Stat.
Because I happen to know the answer. Because
There is no answer.
a ghost needs a gestation period before it reemerges.
Really? Where'd you learn that at? Ghost school?
It takes about, yes, I did. It takes about 100 years to gain the power necessary to haunt a house effectively. Now, once in a while, you get an apprentice ghost, which went through the trade school, but they typically, they're kind of the working type ghost. They don't have a whole lot of style, and those are the ones that typically look like somebody threw a sheet over them. But your real apparitions, it takes about 100 years. You're welcome.
Well,
You're seeing things that aren't real again.
I can stop worrying about that question then.
There you go.
So that's fine.
There it is.
So, what was I saying?
Something about ghosts.
Yeah, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. That's what you were saying. In exactly that voice. Go ahead.
Ghost baby strength. What you call it? So it's essentially they go in and they have to do an investigation of the premises to see what exactly is there.
What'd they find?
That's so evil. No, they found what they didn't want to find. They found pure evil.
Oh no!
Oh shit, man!
That evil was not cut at all. It was pure.
What did it look like?
100% evil.
What did it look like?
Bunch of flashing shit and bad, I guess, for them. I mean, I wasn't scared because it wasn't happening to me. But
Oh, thank God.
I was okay on the couch. So yeah, they found it, and it ended up he has to wear sunglasses now because he got damage to his retinas from the light.
Oh, that's like the lead from from the Clive Barker film.
Oh yeah, Ashley Lawrence.
Yeah, Ashley Lawrence.
So he has to wear
did
that.
she see
again,
pure evil? Is that what happened?
Yeah. So.
What the fuck are you doing, Rich?
What is
I just
that?
tripped over something getting in the
You're
house.
the worst. Never invite Rich on the show again.
I'll make a note of it, and then I will throw out the note.
What was I saying?
The burned retinas, dude. Burned retinas.
Yeah.
Oh, the burn retinas. Yeah, no, that's just in the story that he wrote, directed, produced, and all of that. So he's not really blinded in any way, shape, or form. It's
No kidding.
much like the TV show. It's sort of just another vehicle to elevate this guy's ego to another level.
Fantastic.
I'm glad he's okay.
Me too. I was worried about.
Didn't you guys go see some Ghost Hunters together or something out in West Virginia?
That was, damn it, that wasn't Ghost Hunters.
That was the mountain monsters, you fool.
Yeah, that's the Bigfoot Hunters. Damn it. These fools be hunting.
Returning soon with a new season.
Oh God.
You can hear all about it on Otherworldly Radio.
I did.
The Snallygaster. Okay. The Yahoo.
That sounds like a vagina.
All of that sounds so much better than this movie. All of it.
The Ohio Grassman. There's tons of different Bigfoots out there, yo.
There's 0 Bigfoots out there, yo.
The Chupacabra
That's not a Bigfoot.
coming after you.
Still
What?
not real, though.
The Jersey Devil.
That's right.
It's a hockey team, so
Yeah,
I'll accept that as
no, that
real.
one's real. That one's real. Yeah. From what I've seen. Yeah.
Everybody knows the story of the Haunchies.
That's
Of course,
right.
Tim has told us about this.
That is no more than 3 miles from where I'm sitting right now. Is Haunchyville.
Moncheville.
You should be scared.
You
The
know,
way Tim described it, it was like
when
just
you-
a place where they outcast all the midgets too.
it is. Okay, look it
Awful.
up. Look it up because this was in Wisconsin and this part nobody can explain to me. But when the circus would break down for the winter, they would come to Wisconsin. They would go to Baraboo, Wisconsin, is where Ringling Brothers Circus before Barnum and Bailey. That was their winter headquarters. And I'm like, really? Why wouldn't you have a winter headquarters in Florida? But they came up here. It must have been really cheap land or something. And some of them that left the sideshow, they broke off and started a community in Muskego, Wisconsin. And after a while, they weren't making money anymore because they weren't in the sideshow. So to feed themselves, they would go out and hunt on Mystic Avenue here in Muskego. And if they would find young lovers that were, getting their thing on, they would attack them at night, screaming out, wailing in Pig Latin as they attack, and kill them dead.
This is much more interesting than Mike's movie.
I know it, but it's probably the storytelling ability. All right.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Hurts my feelings.
I know.
You don't have those.
The Haunchies.
Are you
The
ready to
Haunchies.
grade, or
I
do you have
fucked one.
more?
What?
Do you have more, or do you want to grade at this point?
No, I can grade it. I mean, I think everybody's interrupted me at least twice. So
Okay, good. We got ours in.
I graded a D. It was pretty bad.
Wow. I am shocked you didn't give it an F. You must be feeling forgiving or something today.
He's got a crush on the guy from Ghost Adventures or whatever.
Well, we all know about that, yeah. Alrighty. Well, that means I'm the only one left. I feel sorry for you because the movie I have, oh brother. I am going to be talking about a movie that is still playing at the movie house.
Ugh.
It is called Strangers Pray at Night. And,
Strangers pray at night.
exchanging knife blows. Okay. So, I don't know, how many of you... Have all of you seen the original Strangers with
Yeah, it's a classic.
Liv Tyler?
Yep.
Okay. I liked that movie. I really enjoyed it. I don't know how the rest of you felt about the original.
Hated it.
Hated it?
I like
Nobody
it.
cares what Rich says, though. So.
Hey, his name is Demeet. Would you show some respect for our guests?
I'm calling him the meat.
Demeet.
I'm calling him the meat.
That's what he's tenderizing right now. I always thought Strangers was on the good side of the torture porn, that it was scary, that it was bleak. I enjoyed the acting. I thought it was really good. This movie is very different. Let me read the quick analysis, or the blurb that's in IMDb, because it's sincerely the entire plot. A family's road trip takes a dangerous turn when they arrive at a secluded mobile home park to stay with some relatives and find it mysteriously deserted. Under the cover of darkness, 3 masked psychopaths pay them a visit to test the family's every limit as they struggle to survive. I will tell you, those 2 sentences are more interesting than the film. Now, the director was Johannes Roberts. The last thing anybody knows he's done was 47 Meters Down, which really set my expectations up. I liked that movie. I think you enjoyed it, Mike.
I did. It was good.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Really?
It was.
So I should watch that then?
I enjoyed it. I was surprised. I thought it was going to suck, but I was surprised by it.
Is it a shark movie?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Mandy Moore and another young lady are in a shark tank, and the chain breaks and they fall 47 meters down to the floor of the ocean, and a shark is just trolling, ready to eat her if they try to get out. And they're so far down that you just can't do it. It's actually a very tense film, scary. There's a lot of disagreement as to if the ending is good or not. People either love or hate the ending, but even without the ending, the first hour of the movie is fantastic in its own. So it's one of those movies that I feel like people base their opinion on it based on that ending more than anything else.
Love that ending.
Yeah. I did not, but I still enjoyed the movie quite a bit. It was also the highest grossing indie film of its release year. So a lot of high expectations for this thing. Here's my opinion on this. It took forever to get going, and I'm usually okay with a slow burn if it pays off. This didn't really pay off. First of all, let's take a look at Strangers. It came out 10 years ago. Were you aware of that? I was shocked when I looked it up. It was 2008. This is 2018 that this one came out.
Dude, for some reason, if you say 10 years ago, I'm thinking like 93.
Right. I know, but it was only 2008. The domestic gross of the original Strangers was $52 million. Foreign, it took $29 million. The new movie, which is only in its 3rd or 4th year of release, is hovering at about $23 million. It doesn't show a whole lot of signs of life. I think that's going to be its domestic gross. Don't know what it's doing overseas. This I found interesting. The production budget of the first movie was $9 million. This time it was $5 million, so they cut it nearly in half. So that surprised me.
That's sad.
Yeah. The tomato meter on the first one was 45%. The new one's 38%. I think because it wasn't a blockbuster. Strangers was not a huge film. My back of the envelope, just doing some math on it, considering the marketing, etc., I figured the first movie made $64 million on an investment of $9 million. That's good. That's damn good. But they weren't going to dump a ton of money into this. I also feel like, has anybody been asking for a Strangers sequel? I've never heard anybody say. I think a lot of people have positive feelings for that movie, but particularly the way it ended, and yeah, let me hit the spoiler alert here. The way it ended, Strangers, you didn't want it to continue. It ended nice and bleak, and that was it. And the movie. I really liked that. And that's really my problem with this film. The first film had a lot of suspense. There was a lot of look out the windows. There's one again. Look out the window. There's somebody messing around by the mailbox. Oh, look out the window. This is going on. There was a lot of suspense. And when it starts paying off, it's kind of a long, drawn-out torture porn type thing. This movie, I'm going to tell you, not torture porn, not really much suspense. This is a slasher movie. Okay? So if you go into Strangers and you go, oh, I liked the last movie, that will have absolutely nothing to do with if you like this movie at all or not. Now, if you like slasher movies, you might have a lot more fun with this than I. I'm not a huge slasher movie person, so I'm not sure. In fact, I'm running pictures on the video feed once again, and one of the pictures is the mother character making a phone call while the teenager is freaking out behind her. I'm like, good God, that could have happened in any one of thousands of slasher films. And that's exactly what this movie's doing. As inventive as I thought 47 Meters Down was, this movie as derivative as possible. It's not very bleak in it. The violence is limited. You're not seeing a whole lot of blood. You're not seeing a whole lot of anything.
How can you be a slasher without any blood?
There's very little. I mean, there's... Okay, let me hit the spoiler again. There's a total of 5 kills in the whole thing. I mean, unless I'm forgetting one, there's like 5 people that die. That's it. It's a very limited... No, 6. Very limited cast in this thing. They're in a trailer park. That's the idea. They pull in. It's a trailer park where people vacation and stay at the trailer park.
Like a campground trailer park. Then.
Yeah, like a campground one. Yeah. And they're the only ones there because it's off season, and these strangers are hanging out, and for no motive other than because they're there, just like the original movie. That's at least a harkening back. They start messing with them, but they don't really mess with them as much as just kill them. Dead, you know. Now, I've been kind of ripping on the movie. What's good about it? The acting is pretty good. They got some decent actors involved in it, and the 2 female leads are very attractive. One's a little too young, you know, for you to have those feelings, but what the hell? But it's
that's going to be the end.
There you go. Yeah. But you know, the movie takes freaking forever to get going. Once it gets going, there's only so far it can go because it really kicks into gear after half the cast is already gone. And it's like, well, you don't have much people left to even kill. What's going on here? And you can kind of see very early on how it's going to play out and what's going to happen. That isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes you kind of want it to go the way that it does. But really, the through line from the original movie is the motive and the masks. And the masks more so than the motive. It's real because at a certain point in the movie, I'm like, okay, this has gone beyond just because they're there. This is, you know, become some sort of vendetta.
Vendetta.
You know, just the mask, that is not much to hang an entire movie package on that's out at the movie house. You know, it isn't much. I'm looking forward to The Quiet Place coming and taking the screen that this thing has been monopolizing at the local movie house and get this thing off out of there. I really didn't think much of the film at all. So let me get to I always get three things I gotta hit here. Okay, here we go. I really didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it. It was significantly different than the movie that it was supposedly the sequel to. I'm giving it a D.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, I don't give too many D's.
I know.
I'm fairly easygoing on some of these things, but this thing, I guess what my biggest issue was is it wasn't a sequel to the original movie, and it didn't even really try. I would say it is a slasher movie. It's a slasher movie. Person in mask chasing people down, except for there's 3 of them instead of 1. That's really what it is. So
I'll watch that shit.
Yeah, I do think.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I think slasher fans are going to enjoy it. This was not my cup of tea, and I didn't enjoy it. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that will enjoy it, but it wasn't for me. All right. Well, we've gotten to that point in the show where, let's see, we go to Drew first. We don't have a From Dusk Till Dawn this Thursday, but we will have one next Thursday. Any big news coming up that you want to talk about, Drew?
Well, on the next From Dusk Till Dawn radio, you're going to want to tune up, and eat cats.
And strap on.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks for that. All right, Mike, what's new on the website?
There's a lot of new stuff from our staff writer, Adam Holtstoffel. He's got a lot of cool... I don't know why I have to say that mean stuff, but I do.
Okay.
He's got a lot of cool reviews, a lot of cool articles on there, so check him out. We have some of our past episodes, and yeah, I'll Rich handle the rest.
Yeah, Rich, what else is new on the EastCoastHorrorGroup.com website?
Otherworldly Radio.
There you go. Is it
Yes.
Otherworldly Radio or Otherworldly Culture Radio?
Oh, I don't know. One of those two.
Okay.
But,
Thanks.
but
Thanks
yeah,
for making
whatever
that
you
clear.
think. No, Otherworldly Culture Radio. Mike pulled me out of Horror Realm Radio retirement, and we're doing a four basically mini episodes a week. They're going to be about 30 minutes long, so people can listen to them on their work commute or while on the treadmill or something like that. And going to be a range of topics. Just we're actually going to there'll be some horror in there, but we're trying to get away from it and talk about some of the other interests we have: wrestling, Bigfoot shows, toys, comic books. You know, all the stuff that we talk about together, but never have really shared outside of all our horror stuff. You know, we've been consumed with horror for how many years now? So we thought we'd change it up.
You guys are doing 4 a week?
Mini-sodes. Full.
Mini-sodes.
Well, they're 30 minutes. That's not a mini-sode. That's pretty good size.
For most
guys.
people, so yeah.
But we're recording them all at one time and then putting them out 4 different days.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, I've heard so far you had a wrestling show and a show that you reviewed Justice League. And
Justice
those
League
are
and some DVD releases, and
yeah.
we're going to do another wrestling show this week. Do our WrestleMania predictions, because this is the week of WrestleMania.
Okay. Yeah, I really enjoyed what I've heard so far, and I wish you guys lots of luck and success with the new program. So I'm sure it's going to continue to grow, and I know that all the East Coast Horror Group fans are just eating it up and loving it.
Oh, yeah.
Also coming to the website in the near future, a couple Scream at the Screens that I shot back in February. We finally got them edited, and they'll be released sometime in the future. Mike will let me know when they happen. So, but it sounds like you guys have a ton of content coming out, so it's going to be an avalanche. You'll have to go to East Coast Horror Group maybe more than once a day just to get all the content you guys are throwing out there. That's a
Hell
ton.
yeah.
That's awesome.
That's all we do.
Fantastic. Okay, I think that's it. I appreciate everybody coming out for tonight's show, and invite you to keep tuned to the EastCoastHorrorGroup.com for all of our great programming. So until next time, the East Coast Horror Group suggests sleeping with the light on. If the monster under your bed is going to get you, you should at least see him coming.
In your
Under his
face.
mouth.
We had the same idea there.
Unbelievable.
East Coast Horror Group.
You guys are just pigs. Just pigs. Can't believe it. So mean. It's unbelievable.
Hey, boy.
Oh.
Oh, we got a little of that. Let's see. How about that? There you go. All right. Hey, Rich, thanks so much for coming on the show. You were doing a great job, but we still did hear some of the review with Mike, so we're going to have to work on that.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, damn it.
You know you loved it. You know you loved it.
Was the goal of the show for Mike's review to not happen?
All right. We'll see everybody next time